Hakuna Matata. What a wonderful phrase. Hakuna Matata is the maxim I choose to live by every single day. Hakuna Matata officially means no worries. It is a way to look at your problems from a more philosophical perspective and staying positive whatever happens to you. Of course, it was somehow inspired by a very influential character of my childhood, Timon. I felt when I grew older that this phrase is not simply a song title. It's much more than that. It's a true philosophy. It's a lifestyle on its own. Fellow Toastmasters, esteemed guests, good evening. My name is Saadallah Kassir, and today I will present to you how I decided to live by Hakuna Matata. In my childhood, I was a pretty serious kid. I was always very organized and particularly focused for my age. I used to live by a certain ideal set by my parents and the French society in which I used to live in. I was not really like any other kids of my age, and the reason is that my passion was not really cinema, not music, and even less gaming. My passion was learning, and actually sitting in a classroom was a real hobby for me. The years were passing, and my eagerness to learn led me to be very ambitious with my academic path, with more and more precise ideas about what I wanted to do after high school. The top universities in France were waiting for students of my profile with open arms, actually, or at least that's what I thought. To understand how I got to follow this philosophy, Hakuna Matata, I need to tell you how one event revolutionized my whole life and shaped my history. I was lucky to have been accepted to the Computer and Communication Engineering program at the American University of Beirut, and that was in winter 2012. That was before I started to apply to French universities. So I kind of already had my future safe. But in the summer 2013, I was around 6 months later, I was about to learn the most important lesson of my whole life. For me and my fellow classmates, the summer of 2013 was the period in which we received our acceptance results from the French universities. Unfortunately, I was not accepted to the first choice university that I really wanted to go to, while all of my fellow top students in my class got to all of the prestigious schools of their choice. This was a real shock to me. And I remained frozen actually in front of my computer for, I remember very well, like 4 or 5 minutes. But there was nothing I could do. Was there? Again, I still remember this moment very, very well. I was sitting here in front of my computer, and my brother was around 5 or 6 at the time. He was actually 7. He was watching The Lion King. And then came the illumination. Hakuna Matata. Hakuna Matata was the solution. Could it be that easy? Could it be that easy to move on with my life? After all my efforts, after what I was considering as a real failure? Well, Hakuna Matata taught me, what if it wasn't a failure? What if all of this was actually for the best? What if all of this was actually the best thing that ever happened to me? After a surprisingly short conversation with my parents, I decided to leave my native country, leave my parents, leave my friends to enroll at the American University of Beirut, in spite of course, the expensive tuition compared to French universities. The decision allowed me to switch to the American education system, which allowed me later to pursue my PhD here at UT Austin. Fellow Toastmasters, 7 years later, I'm realizing how much I've learned from that event. Today, I'm a proud Longhorn and AUB alumnus. Today, I'm a proud member of Toastmasters International, an amazing community that helped me discover a new me, and among which I have spent the most exciting years of my life. Today, I can proudly say that deciding to go to the American University of Beirut was the best decision I have ever taken. Hakuna Matata taught me to put my problems in perspective, regardless of how frustrating it may be. Hakuna Matata taught me never to give up on my dreams. Hakuna Matata taught me to accept my failures in order to better succeed. And last but not least, without Hakuna Matata, I wouldn't have had the pleasure to be here today at Toastmasters and share my story with you all. And that would have been a shame, wouldn't it, Mrs. Toastmaster?